Hello, welcome everybody. Here Daniel once again, and today we are going to tackle a new um, update in our project here today, where we are going to um, create some user stories, and we're going to update our code to um, to hopefully be able to accomplish what we are setting here in our user story. All right. So I have been developing here for a while, and I started using a sort of agile methodology as far as stories, so we can keep track of what we are trying to update here. Okay. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions, definitely let me know. All right. So our first user story, been working on this from our last video, is where we have an on-change trigger in our Google App script where we have our sheets. Okay, so we have our sheets whenever we make a change to a field like that, like if we add or remove a field, then it's gonna trigger an onEdit. Okay, and see this onEdit simple trigger. Um, can refresh here, and right now we are getting this error, but I think it's still going out actually. We are getting a response here. This just happened. Yep. So if we go into our Wix um, logs, we can see all the other logs that are happening, right? So we go to right here. This is the request that we sent at the beginning. So we're sending the sheet name, oops, sheet name, the range, okay, G2 of the header, the query value, which was just empty, right? We deleted it. The range key, all right, so this is the key where we're gonna search in our records for. And then we have a query field, so this is the field where we're gonna query also. And then we just added this user, so it shows us the email who made the change, okay? So that goes to our backend, all right? So if we take a look at our user story, so we got the range of the edited field, we want to capture that, the value of that edited field, name of the sheet, the header range, right? So that's the range, and then the header value or the label, right? And then we have our key. So this is going to be what we're going to search using our unique value to find that record. And then we also have this user who did the edit, okay, as form of email, okay. So we're gonna use all these values to update our records and to hopefully get what the customer is requesting. So here is the second part, which is our HTTPS listener or hook, right? It's a web hook, I believe, or API where we're gonna send um, this information and it's gonna be able to accept that and process it. Okay. The other thing is that we have a sheet with several. We have a spreadsheet with several sheets, right? And we have one, two, three, four. I believe four of the sheets that we want to track. Okay. And they all have this slip. Okay. So the slip um, has the unique values here. So we're going to use this as our key. All right, so these are the headers. So the header starts in number 2, and then we have all these values in here, okay? So we are with our backend, with our trigger script here. So we are creating an onEdit function. So this onEdit function, we're defining the sheet, the range, and we're getting the row, So the row, we're actually not using it, but we can get the whole row if we wanted to. Um, and see, here's like a loop to get each values from that row. But basically, we're just defining these variables and we're adding it to an object. So here's our object that we're creating. So we're adding the range, the value, the header, the key, the header value, and our user. Okay. So those are the six properties that this object will have. And we are also doing some reg edit to isolate the header position, right? So for example, we always know that it's gonna be in the so this is the header, right? So it's gonna be always in the letter or it's always gonna be the value 2, right? In the position 2, the row 2. So we just need to get the letter, right, of the header. So it could be D, F, whatever they're changing, we're getting that letter, right? And then we always know it's gonna be 2 for the header. So that's why we're stripping down the letter and we're just adding the 2 here. Okay? So, so that's how that works. And then here, the same thing with the row for the head for the key. We're doing the opposite. We are always assigning it number column B, and then we just get the number of that row. Okay, so that way it doesn't matter where which one it is. We always get the right one. All right. So the other thing we got here is we're getting the range, and then we're getting the value of our header. So we're getting the name of the header. Now, the other thing I was thinking about was, unfortunately, these headers are not the same as our fields in these values are not the same as the fields in our collection. Because see, these starts with capital letters, and our fields probably will start with lowercase, and then when they have separators like this or a space, they will make the first letter small, and then the space will be capital, and they will put it together, right? So I was thinking we can also probably create another, um, we can create another thing to get the header like that. Sorry. Um, yeah, a little bit under the weather today, but we gotta continue on this wellness day. So, so this is what we have so far. I think there's a few things we need to correct. So I believe we have published this. Let's see, I'm gonna run it. Okay, so see, we needed to review the permissions. So we're gonna allow this again. So this is our own app. So we're gonna go ahead and allow that. All right, so that should get rid of that other error we were having. So it's saved. So one more test I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here. We're gonna put that one back. All right, so that should trigger. Let's see. Yep. So we got our here is our simple trigger. All right, we're still getting this fetch. Okay, I don't know what this is. Let's take a look. Uh-huh. Okay. So, so earlier, if we can go back here a little bit early, we were getting, let's see, this is July 25th. This was yesterday. Let's see, day before. So we were getting more than this. I don't know why we are not getting any of our logs here correctly. But we could have seen, oh, you know what? Because I remove all of our, we remove everything, our loggers. So we only logging the response, okay? But if we add our logger here, I'm gonna add this logger right here, right before we send it. So I want to see what this edit object looking like. All right. So I think that's what was missing here. We didn't have the logger, right? So we updated that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up again. All right, so if we take a look at our latest log here. All right, so here is our object. All right, so see we have query value, which is that. Oh no, the query value is empty. And then we have our query field. Then we have our user. All right, so this is pretty simplified. This is not, I don't think this is stringify, because here we will stringify it here, see? So let me see, I'm gonna stringify it here so we can see what it's actually being sent. That's our object. This is our what we're sending to the API. So if we just go ahead and do this once again. So here is our news trigger, and we should see our stringify value here any moment now. When we refresh it. String, huh. Okay, something is not right here. Oh, yeah. This. The. All right. My mistake. Did somebody say steak? Yes. All right, so we have our, I just want to make sure that we have the right data going out there. It's always important to test. All right, so we got our sheet name. We have the header range. So did it change the order, right? And then we have the query value, which is empty. See, we just deleted it. All right. And then user's empty too. I wonder what happened with the user. Weird. It didn't capture the user. So we have user. Oh, is it not there yet? Right? It's waiting. So maybe should we add a sync, a wait? Can we do that? um, so can we do this? Async. Let's see. It looks like it didn't give it enough time to get the user on this one. See? So let's see. This one has the sync await. All right, so now we got our user. Great. Oh, so you can do a sync await too. Great. All right, so we didn't know that. One more thing we know. So since we are calling this session get active user, it's just gonna wait a few seconds, milliseconds probably, to get all the data to put in here. Okay. Alrighty, so that's good. So our script here looks like we're gonna get all the data we need. So now we're gonna go and transition to our site. So shout out to this sailing club. So we have our script here. All right. So let's see. Let's make this a little bit more appealing. There we go. So we have our um, we're we have created this HTTP function. Okay, so this is where we're gonna receive that payload, right? So we have some tests here. Make sure it's application JSON. Have a JSON to parse. All right. So and then we have we're gonna update by slip. Okay, so I think here is where I probably need to create some logic because on this one we are just calling this script from our Google Sheets API backend web scripts here. So and then this is calling our Sheets integration. Actually, we're not using that yet because that's to go back to Google Sheets. So right now we're just taking our data and updating it to Wix collection. Okay. So we have a few functions here, but I think this is the one, update by slip. All right. So here we have this one function that's gonna take um okay, so this is the one that has the switch statement here. It's gonna call another script. So this is what I'm wondering. Should I move this switch to our HTTP function so we can get better error handling perhaps? Because here it's just getting a body back and then we are just telling it that we received the data or that's it, right? Or error. So I'm thinking maybe if we process those sheets here, maybe we can handle our functions better over here. Because here I'm calling this function and this function is calling another function where we probably going to call another function inside of this. Let's see. Yeah, because we're doing our data update from this other one. And then see we have a whole bunch of things we need to do. And this is what I was talking about where our fields are coming in as they are in our Google Sheets, and then we need to do like a transform table basically. So we need to manually go in there and transform these. So it's good, like it's easy to do it for one or two forms, but if you have like five sheets and then you want to add different sheets in the future, or also if you like um, maybe in the future they just want to change this around, right? So what could be a better way to do this, right? Because most of these, see bill code, right? Bill code, SLA submitted, right? So if we can get these um, names converted before it gets to the function, without having to do this for each one, I think that's gonna be the best because see the only thing is see we got title and then we have member ID here. See? So this one, I will definitely, like, instead of being title, I will make this one member ID, right, on the collection. So there's a few um, fields that are like that in all of these. So I think if we can send it the data from here, because I think I did this in my testing. Let me see. So I'm just gonna go back. So whenever you editing or working on somebody's else things that are kind of like in production, see that this is kind of like in production, right? Um, it's not like highly used daily, but it's still like production sheet, right? So you always want to like make a copy in a safe environment, and then you can handle that information better, right? So what we have here is this is the original one I gotta go to. App scripts. So under app scripts, we have all right, so I didn't do on this one, but I did think about it. So here I was trying to like also like maybe send the information doing the switch here, but here I don't think it makes sense. Because I don't know, like we just want to send a message, so we don't need to kind of like do it from here. But I think what I want to do is we need to create a reg edit or okay, so I'm gonna go back. All right, um, so we're back to our original one. So here, let's see. So I'm gonna call on to my junior developer here. Gonna help us create a reg edit that will actually he did it actually. Here it is. So I had worked on this and it's gonna create a camel case and it gets rid of spaces. So that kind of looks like it's gonna work. So I think this function is pretty good. Let's test it out. So let's go here before we add it to our collection. I mean to our object. So this string, actually we're gonna do we'll do two camel case. Let's see. That should work. So now with the same one, because this one has like that weird. Okay, so we're gonna test this one once again. There's our trigger. Nothing yet. Does anybody know what this means? All right, so here it is. Okay, so we got our look reg doc dry. Okay, so if we look at our reg doc dry, look at that, boom. So see now I know I don't need to kind of like manually do this. So what we need to do is just make sure that our actual collection items are display or have the right name when it gets converted like that. Okay, so I think that was pretty good. So our dry slip list. Okay, so these actually will also need to be converted, but these, since there are a few of them, um, and they have totally different names. Like these collections, I didn't create the collections, so they were created with really particular names. And there was actually another solution I was thinking about. Instead of having all these different tables, right? We can potentially have one or two tables. We can have a um a slot table with all the slots, a collection, and then we can have a members table, right? So that way, um, we can use the power of relationship database, right? Because right now, this is no good. This right here, we're taking all of the spreadsheets and we just importing them in, and all the fields are just strings. Okay, so that's not gonna help us. So um, the project, the scope is not to convert all these to one, but maybe we can bring this up to our client and tell them that there might be a better solution because it's gonna help them when they want to do queries. They can query the whole database for member or the slips, and we can differentiate each slip by like a category, like a type, and it's all in one table. And they're never gonna like they don't have enough like they're not gonna reach the limit of how many records you can have, so that wouldn't be a problem to have them all in one table. Okay, but it is gonna help not make it so complicated, right? So instead of having four different functions that you're gonna call according to the fields and the values and all that, you can just have one function work for everything. Okay. So if you're interested in doing that, learning about that, let me know. Maybe we can do a test and see how that could work. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at this collection here, and we can see that right now it is updating the values correctly, so that's good. So now we need to kind of like update it for the rest of our records. Okay. Now the other thing we need to be aware is, right, see, we cannot have empty fields in some of these areas, right? So if something is a key, see, like this is our primary field, right? So it can be empty, right? So right now these are not being related anywhere. And see, this is the one that's like title. See, so I will redo this field. So you can't really change the API field ID, but you can create a new one and just copy all the values over. So since these are not really related to any other table, you can simply do this. So if we wanted to fix this right now, we're gonna go ahead and manage our fields. We're gonna add a new field. We're gonna call this. So see, if this was a related table, the member ID will not be a string. It will be a reference to another table, okay? But to keep it just as a field, right? We're just gonna go ahead and do text, and then we're gonna call this one member ID. So remember how when we put the ID like this in our text, it automatically will make it camel case. Okay, so this is camel case. So that's what our script does. So if we make sure that all of them are consistent, then our fields will automatically convert it to camel case, and then we can search and query those fields without having a complex uh, transform table. You know, in some cases, you do need to kind of create a transform table because the fields are not going to be related at all. Like the names are going to be totally different, but they mean the same thing on different tables. Okay? But for our case, since we're like importing this from the actual spreadsheets, we can just make them the closest possible. Okay. So I'm gonna drag this up here. All right. So here is our member ID. Got two member IDs, right? But this is gonna be the new one. So there's two ways you can do this. You can create a script that will go through each one of these and copy them over. Let me see. There's only 76. Okay, so if you have more than 100, you definitely want to do it a more safer way, like with using a script. So here, I was hoping I could just copy these over, but I only see a way to delete them. We don't want to delete them, right? And so what we're gonna need to do is duplicate field. Okay, so look, this is what we can do. We're gonna delete this one. Gonna delete it. We're gonna go out of it. We're gonna go back into it. So they actually have this um, duplicate field with content. Okay, so we want to duplicate this field with content, and does it let us name it? Oh no. Oh, but you don't let me name it. That's not good. Why? So this would have worked if I could have named this correctly, but it just put title 1, which doesn't help me now because the whole point is that we make the field the right name, right, at the API level, because that's when we query our tables using Wix data. It looks at the the API name. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to use some code, I believe. So um turned out to be a little bit more difficult than what we wanted to. Oh, look, here's that function again. I was trying to do it from here, but we can do it from. That's a cool thing about JavaScript. That's pretty universal. If your application can run JavaScript, um, once you learn JavaScript, you can use them many different ways. Really valuable. Um, so, um, so let's call on to our junior developer here, and we're gonna give him a new prompt to help us. All right. Create a Wix Hello script to query all records and right, and then we're gonna plug in our table name. So go back to our table here. We're gonna copy this one, selection, and copy the value of the. Right, so we're gonna copy the value of the title. Okay, so we need to open this. So we're gonna create our field again. So copy the value of the title and update the field member ID. Okay. All right. For record with bulk update. All right. So they have something that's called bulk update. So you can create your query, and then it's gonna like it's good for this for creating bulk update. To create a bulk update like this. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do this one more time. Member ID. All right. So we got that. We have our member ID field. Gonna move it up to the top here. All right. And then our primary key also should be our dry slips. This is what our primary key should be actually. This is mainly focused on our dry slips. Okay. So this is what reference is going to show up when we query it from another table or when we create relationships. Okay. So I think our junior developer is done with his script. Let's see. So we got Wix data, query, our table, fine, everything. Update items. So we're gonna map the item ID and member ID. So the title, yeah. So the item title gonna be for that member ID. Then we're gonna bulk update. This creates oh, that does it all at once, huh? Oh, it's gonna map it. Actually, it maps it. Wow, that looks beautiful. All right, so let's see. That looks good. We're gonna go ahead and try to run this in here. Let's see. Actually, for something like this, we're gonna go into our functions here. And we're gonna create this new function. I think we already got Wix data. All right, so we got that. Seems to be inside something here. Oh, there's a web method. So this web method, we need to like wrap our functions in here so we can kind of like run them from somewhere else. So all these that have web method, we can run them. See the ones that are just functions, not run them directly. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this one up. The way we do that is we're gonna take this title here, We're gonna move it up here as the name, and then it's empty here. So this whole thing gets away because it's gonna run our function here like that. Okay, so I think, and then we need to a closing parenthesis, right? So that's how you wrap your web methods around your function. So we're not passing anything, so it's empty. But if you're passing a value, you put it here. Okay? And then this is the name of your function. We just go ahead and run it now. All right, so okay, we're not looking at it, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna run it. Da-da-da-da. All successful. All right, updated 50 records. Oh no. All right, so it looks like it will max out at 50. Okay, so we had 76. Okay, so is it true? 50? That's it? Hold on. Because bulk update, right? Bulk is not 50. I mean, I think there's a way to kind of like run it again. Velo was dev. Hmm. I think Wix.dev. All right, so here is our. So I think this is. All right, so let's see. Wix database data. Yeah, collection. This is not what I was looking for. Let's see. Headless. Oh, Velo. This is what we want, Velo. Okay. So this is Velo code. So we got our Wix data and then bulk update. So our bulk update, what it says is the bulk update function returns a promise that resolves after the items have been updated in specified collection. Okay, let's see how many can we do. So you need the ID. Hmm. Bulk operations are limited to 1,000 items per function call. So where did we not um why did it stop at 50? There a limit? Huh. So actually let's look at our log. See what happened here. Huh. So it did it once for 50. We're not we don't have it limited here, right? I don't know why it did only 50. So let's take a look at our collection here. Uh-oh. Huh. So I think this is not right because it created new records. Okay. So I wonder, um, what happened? This is not what we want. All right. So here's our 50. Okay, let's delete that. So it did copy it, but not how we want it. So I think what happened was we're updating it, but we're not doing it correctly because it should had not done that. So the way that we're updating, um, yeah, because this is just mapping it and it's just putting these two things. So we need to query first and then put in that item, and then we gotta update item. Not like this. This is not correct. So if we go back to this one that updates it, what we're doing here is we putting this results and we calling it a record. So if we do it like this, probably it's gonna be better. Here we're querying, okay, and then we got our results, and then all we need to do is just put dot, yeah, then we can update our record. Okay, so I think this what we want to do. So we don't want to map it. Here we're gonna do record dot member ID equals record dot title. We're gonna do record. So this record contains the items. Okay. So the other thing is Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, hey. Um. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if we look at the API here one more time. So here it's not doing the query. So I think that's, so how is it updating? It's not querying it. Hmm. So here, I guess they have all the fields, so they're not missing anything. But I want to just update that one value. All right, so our final attempt here. I think, update only true. Is this? See, now this is no good. I never seen this. Right. I think our junior developer has failed us. Um so this I think what's that's doing is building a big object and it updates it all at once. Okay, so if we want this to happen, um probably need to create an array. Create our empty array, and then you do push update push, put our record, and we update this. And this loop gonna end here. If results, okay. Wonder. Actually, array object. What's going on here? Close it. Okay, what's going on here? have that should have created this. Catches it. What's wrong with this? All right. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Got our script here. What's gonna happen? Undefined. Oh, okay. Getting each record. Then if we go to our collection, so here at the end, 25. We just log in a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, wait. Get rid of your filter. I was like, all right, look at this. Uh, what happened? Uh-uh. Okay, we completely nuked the rest of the information here. So, kind of worked. Make sure you have backups of your data. You know, this is still in development, so not a big worries. But yeah, when dealing with data functions, you know, they make sure you test them. You test them well. I don't know if it ran out of memory or something. There was a lot to previous one. So we didn't get to that part here. I ran out of steam or something. So since we were console logging all this, I think that was big issue. So I mean, I think what happens is here the limit. Um, did a query. I think it was the query that messed up. Because the default is 50. All right, so limit is just a number for the fine. Before the fine. A little too late. So what we're gonna do is we need data back. Or we'll leave that for our next video. So in our next video, we'll have correct data in there. So copy the fields over. Pretty challenging, looks like. So So for our next video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna consolidate all these tables into one table. That way we can use the power of relational databases, okay? And I think that's gonna help our clients. So once we get feedback from our clients, we'll definitely be uploading that video. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap up this video here. Thank you so much for your time, and you guys have a blessed day.